Okay, for some reason I am so excited to do this video. I think it's just because I'm letting you into my just day-to-day makeup routine. This is my little go-to one whenever I just want to get done quick, but I also want to look put together. And it's using some newer products. One thing I don't think I've shown you, it's kind of gone viral, but I actually did not like it for like the first 3 times I used it. So I know, I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's get started. One of the things I do first is to put something on my lips. And I just started using, it's called Remedy for Dry Lips. It's from Dr. Shaw. There's this channel called Doctorly, and it's 2 dermatologists, 2 guys. They just crack me up. They always look like they're having an inside joke whenever they're filming. It's like, I always feel like they're about ready to giggle. It just makes me laugh. Anyways, Dr. Shaw, one of them, came up with new skincare products called Remedy. And one of them is for dry lips. And I've actually really been liking this. I've only used it for about a week. The thing I like about it is it lasts on your lip. The hydration lasts longer than the product lasts on your lips. Does that make sense? It's just one of these kinds that you push up and it goes like that. It's actually not my favorite kind of delivery. I actually really like the kind where you put your finger in it, although that's better for when you're not traveling about. This is better when you're like in your purse or something. Whatever he put in this stuff works. I mean, he is a dermatologist, so I'm excited about it. First thing I'm going to use is a under eye corrector, which is Kokie Be Bright, because I have a pretty decent amount of blue underneath my eyes, and this is in the color Peach. So I try not to use too much of this. So I'm going to actually use a rougher brush. This is the number B01. This is one of their new brushes. I like it because it's got a slant to it. Okay, where is it? Whenever I look at my monitor is opposite. It's a whole thing, but I always go the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. So this just corrects that blue, and sometimes I skip this step, like if I'm just like, I need to get out the door. I mean, obviously it depends on how much blue I have at the time. Here's the thing that I did not like for the first 3 times I used it. It is the Simply Ages Skin Perfector Essence by CoverGirl. And you can see I've used a good amount of this already. When I first got it, I was watching some other YouTubers, how they used it, and almost all of them said they liked using it with their fingers. And so then I thought, okay, I have to use my fingers, which I'm not a fan of with any product. I hated it that way. It's a very unique product. If you haven't seen this, it's got these little bubbles of pigment, and it's a serum around it. So how I do it is I do 2 pumps, and I always have a little left over, which is fine. And then my favorite way to use it is with a brush first. So I like to use the BK Beauty 106 brush. And it's important to basically break up those little bubbles of pigment. I just do that all over. I don't really care about mixing it in too much to begin. I want to just burst all those pigment bubbles. There's probably another name for that, but that's what I'm calling it. And once I've done that, then I can start going back in and buffing. Now, if you have oily skin, I'm not sure if you're gonna like this. I have normal in the summer to very dry in the winter. Right now we are in spring when I am filming this, and my skin is already starting to be less dry, but I've also changed my skincare routine, which has made a massive difference. Oh my word, my hair. And so my skin is actually a little bit less dry than it usually is, which, well, actually a lot less dry. So I'm still not ready to tell you guys the whole process yet, because I just want to be so sure that I love everything I'm using. And then I will divulge my secrets. So I'm going to get a little bit more of the CoverGirl, and I'm going to just dab this around again, the remainder of it. Oh, that was a lot. Take the brush again and pounce. This is a very light coverage, but it does more than I thought it would do. And that's why I think I like it, because it does give me coverage. It evens out my skin tone, but it's not so over the top that I feel like I have to be so careful with it. I have layered it over a SPF that's not mineral, and I've layered it over an SPF that is mineral. It did well with both. My next step is I take a dampened sponge and I just smooth everything out. And this does make a difference because this is such a serum kind of foundation. I'm not, is it even really called a foundation? It's called a Hydro Fresh Tint. So it's really not a foundation. I'm not sure what color I choose. I will put that in the link, what color I did, or here on the screen, so you guys know what color I chose, because it does come in different colors. But I think the colors are very forgiving. I'm not sure if they're very forgiving on the very light end or the very dark end. I don't know that. If you guys have used this and you are on the lighter or darker end, comment below and, you know, have you been able to find one if you've tried this? So you can see like it's got a light coverage. I even tried to conceal a little bit, but not greatly. That's one of the first things I was so excited to show you guys. And it's been around. I know y'all have seen this. It's been around for a hot minute, but I don't like to say I'm in love with something till I'm actually really in love with it. And I don't feel like the first time I use it is one of those times, especially with this one. Okay, I did my brows off camera and I used the Kokie eyebrow pencil, one of my favorites. And then I used the e.l.f. Wow Brow to darken up. I have some grays in there that I want to color. The next thing I do is, of course, I color in all the discolorations. So if you can see the before, I'm not trying anything new, is the Perky Almond on my heart. That's a trail around here that we go biking. Perricone MD. No makeup eyeshadow. Just kind of dab that all over my eye. It covers up but doesn't blank out everything. That's the difference. And I take a different brush and I always go in with a all over powder, and my favorite is the All Nighter by Urban Decay. And this kind of just sets it and I have no problems throughout the day. Like, it never creases. I don't use an eye primer anymore for all over my lid. I used to have one that I loved. It was called Thank Me Later from Elizabeth Mott. You get it on Amazon. And I loved it, but my eyes, I told you my skin is changing and I don't have as much oily lids anymore. It's gotten drier. So I don't need it anymore. It's amazing how much our skin changes as we age. Next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and do the same thing and set with the same brush and everything under my eye. So I'm just kind of making sure there's nothing gathered and creasing is not there. And then just take this all over it. And I really like using, this is the Angie Hot and Flashy BK Beauty A506. They call it a kitten brush. I don't know if that's because it's looks like a kitten's paw, I guess is why they call it that. Apparently very viral on TikTok right now, or has been for a while. I am going to use a gel on my eyebrows now. The e.l.f. Wow Brow that I used is great for coloring in, like if you've got some blondes in there or if you've got some grays that you want to cover up. It's not great for making your eyebrows look nice and fluffy and fluffed and standing up and staying there. My favorite is the Joe Up Brow Down to Me. I'm not sure if you can get this anymore, which makes me so sad, but it's a very good gel. They have to have a gel. I will link a gel in there, but I'll also link another one that I do like. Not as much as this one, but I do like it. One of the things that I like to do is just thing that I took off, if you can you see that gray one right there? I took off a little bit of the color, so I'm gonna go back in with the Wow Brow and just color that one in a little bit. There, and this one too. Next thing I'm gonna do is now powder down, because I am using powder for everything else on my face. So I'm gonna use that same Urban Decay All Nighter. I'm gonna use the same one, and I'm gonna use a puff. I don't need a lot because I do have drier skin, but I do need to set it down because I am using a powder. I don't want the makeup to grab a hold of what my powder is and be patchy, and I've done that way too much. so many times. The best thing to do is just kind of feel. Does your face feel sticky? Like it feels sticky right here. If you've got the time, you could absolutely just let your face sit for a while and then go back in. Like if you've got some chores to do, if you want to go do your hair, things like that. You can absolutely do that and avoid as much powder. So that's one of your options, but I don't have that option right now. I need to get this done. Curl my lashes. I'm using the Rephr number 20R. My everyday one that I love for mascara is the L'Oreal Voluminous Waterproof. Love this one. It gives me a more natural look. I think this one's getting a little bit dried out. It's about ready for me to declutter this one and get a new one, but I do love it. Next newest thing that I've been loving lately is this Physicians Formula Butter Glow Muramuru. It's their bronzer blush. This is one of my absolute favorite things right now. I think it's because it's just easy. So for this, I like to use the BK Beauty 112 brush just because it's small, it's angled, it's just one of my favorite brushes. When I start on the side here, like on the upper part here, and I get the darker. Take off a little bit, and I just kind of do little circles, and I do go over my nose. Again, focus on the upper part of this. I'm kind of putting it exactly where I would put a blush, except I'm going over my nose a bit. Then I go back in and I use the blush part and then do kind of a circle with all of it. Does that make sense? Get the extra off and then just go where the blush would go. And that gives me a little bit more of a glow and blush look. And I don't go over my nose because it's got a little bit of a glow to it. Okay. The next thing I like to do is use the BK Beauty 105 brush, which is this huge one. I love it because of its denseness, but it moves well. If this is beyond your price range, another one I would suggest is the e.l.f. It's called the Airbrush Blender Brush. It's got a nice little angle to it. So just very different brushes, but I really like them both. So I'm gonna just kind of make sure everything is blended well. The next thing I'm gonna do is put on a lip liner. And I go back and forth with both of these. One is the Laura Geller Happy Hazelnut, and the other one is the BK Beauty Warm Spice. Oh, my Warm Spice one's almost gone. I have to order a new one. They're very similar. This one's Warm Spice, this one's Happy Hazelnut. I'm gonna use the Warm Spice today. Man, I am gonna have to order a new one because I love this one. The Remedy that I had on before, I'm just gonna make sure that's all off. But see, my lips still feel hydrated. That's why I like this thing. Okay, so I put it all over my lips. And sometimes I just leave it like that. The BK Beauty lip liner and the Laura Geller lip liner. They're matte, but they're not so matte that it's uncomfortable. It's actually a very comfortable lip liner. So sometimes I just leave it like that. What I am gonna go ahead and do is use a lip oil. It's the Merit lip oil to give me a little bit more color and a little shine, but not over. That's why I love their lip oil. It's honestly only lip oil that I actually think is worth the purchase. I always feel very put together, but not overly done when I do this look. Obviously, this is a very simple look. No eyeshadow, nothing special, no eyeliner, nothing. Just my everyday kind of springy summer look that I'm just really in love with. Let me show you how it looks in natural light. If you want a little bit more of a no makeup look, because I definitely look like I have makeup on, but if you really like that pared down, I'm gonna link a video right here where I did my favorite no makeup look and the products that I used. All right, I will see you maybe in that one or another one. God bless.